Hi friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Brittany, for those of you guys who don't know, and today's message is actually going to be titled, I don't know what I'm going to title it just yet, but this message is about someone's kingdom spouse that is getting ready to be deeply in love, okay? Getting his prayers answered and afraid, okay? Somebody is about to be all in their feelings and afraid because they prayed for a wife and God is getting ready to send him his wife. And I believe that this thing is just going to happen so fast that either people, the man or the woman, is not going to feel ready, although they will be ready. They're not going to feel ready. They're not going to feel deserving. And the elevation and the speed of this relationship, it may scare some guys, okay? And so this message is actually coming from a dream. So I have to tell you guys that this dream that I actually had probably about 5 days ago. I've had a really busy weekend, so I've been waiting to get back with you guys, get back in the camera so I can deliver these messages that I have, right? But I had this dream that me and my person, we were at the beach. And so a lot of the times, if I have a dream with my person and I can't see his face clearly, but his presence is there, I know it's him, then I know that the message is for everybody. That's kind of how God does me with dreams. And if I see his face clearly, then usually the message is personal, unless I can leave out some details and still deliver the message. So that's kind of how it works with me. So anyway, I had this dream that we're at the beach. Okay. And so it's me and my spouse or my person, and we're on this piece of wood. It's a pallet. And y'all know the pallets like at the store where they put stuff on and they take the forklift and they move stuff around like at Walmart when they stack things up. So we're on this pallet and we're floating on the water. And so we just smooth sailing, like my feet are like kicked up in the air. We're laughing. We're having a good time. And the pallet begins to float out into the deep. What I also noticed is that when the pallet actually went out into the deep, it started to get dark. Both of us locked eyes on the little the rope that says that you're going into the deep with the boppy things on it. We both looked at it at the same time, and I was thinking like, okay, so first he looked at it and he began to get afraid that we were actually going off into the deep waters. And initially I was laughing because I'm like, I'm the one that can't swim. Why he tripping? You know, like why he over here bugging out? But when I looked at him again, I was like, no, he's like really weary. Maybe we should just turn around. And so as I'm thinking that, then this pallet begins to float back towards the shore, back towards the surface. And so once we make it to the surface, then our friends are there. They're kind of like docking their boats. They have their drinks in their hands. Everybody's having a good time. They're having fun. We begin to have a good time and having fun and getting excited. And I can remember that in my excitement, I had this fleeting thought that I actually wanted to have sex with my spouse. Just a fleeting thought. And I actually wanted to leave that out, but that actually goes with the word, because I know people get all weirded out when you say things like that. Even though God created sex and invented sex for marriage, people get weirded out when you mention it. So I was going to leave it out, but it's actually a part of the word. So I had this fleeting thought that, you know, I'm having a good time. My spouse is looking good. Like, I want to have sex with my spouse. Like, what would that be like? And then it just kind of goes away, but we continue to have fun. And so God was giving me so much revelation about this message. So I want to, because I have it in order, and some of you may have already caught a lot of it, but I have it in order to actually deliver the message. So the first thing was, your kingdom spouse, your person, the person that you're going to marry, they may be comfortable with surface level relationships. And this is for the guy especially. So they may be comfortable with, you know, going on dates. This person may be a serial dater. This person may go out and give their attention to people, but like if they're dating and they're pursuing and they're actually having fun, I don't really see the problem in it. But I feel like this person is actually dating. The second thing was, where the woman finds joy and excitement, this will scare the man. The man is used to the safety of the surface, and the woman in particular, and I'm going to say, and you'll see why I say this at the end, but the woman in particular is actually having fun and excited that things are getting deep. And maybe she's used to like codependent, fast type of relationships, because as we got back to the surface, I was also feeling more comfortable. Like, you know, I can actually get out and I can put my feet in the water and I can stand up and I don't have to worry about drowning and these type of things. And so both of these people struggle and have struggled in the past in relationships. And so what the Lord was actually showing me, again, what was fun for the woman and going into the deep was actually scary for the man, as far as emotions and things like that, because water symbolizes feelings and emotion and just like things getting deep. And I'm gonna go all the way into it, right? So the next thing was the woman could be used to like hasty relationships as well. Like I said, this goes with the codependency thing. If you're, and you'll know if you in the past have been used to like hasty relationships, if you're like a narcissist magnet, because typically the narcissist has to come in and put everything on the table before the mask falls off. And if you're a person that loves fast, love hard, then they're typically drawn to people like that. So that happens. And so the next thing was the relationship speed and depth of the relationship is going to be scary. These things will be moving at a higher level more fast. So the speed and the depth is going to be scary. It's going to be scary that walls are coming down. You're actually getting to know this person. This person is actually getting to know you, and they're able to let some walls down, really tell you about themselves, maybe even tell you like some of the darkest things that they don't really even tell other people. They'll find themselves being able to open up and talk about these things with you. And so the next thing was, again, both people honestly felt safer at the surface. So both people, because they've had trouble in relationships, they feel more safe in a relationship that's kind of just surface based. They might be used to friend zones type of thing. And a woman might do this friend zone type of thing out of just a sense of security and not really having walls up and not really wanting to let anyone in. And the man might be used to a surface level because the last time he tried, maybe he was used, played, betrayed, and all of these things like that. And so he finds it to be more safe on the surface as well. The next thing was, the person may also initially feel safer in group settings and may be accustomed to friend zones. So this is for the guy. This guy, whoever this message is for, this guy is probably going to be safe, feels more safe in a friend zone type of environment, being around friends, being in a group setting, especially if you guys, for whatever reason, can find yourself hanging in the same, friend groups. Then initially they might invite you out to a party, or initially they might invite you out to a gathering to where other people are there, just because they don't want to, they're trying to avoid like these awkward moments of being alone and things like that, and it being too awkward, just friends being around so that they can have this this safety net for them. And then the next thing was the walls up will be coming down, and he had this scared look because and the Lord brought it back around full circle actually, but he was actually afraid that he was letting these walls down. He was able to go into the deep with this person, getting to know this person. This person was in the deep and in the dark with him. So whatever it is about him, whatever it is, his past or anything like that, this woman was willing to be in that thing with him. And this actually made him afraid, especially because there is no sex involved. So maybe this person, this man, has been in relationships before, and typically his feelings is involved when, he finally goes and he sleeps with a woman. But not having that, you're not being the one that's, you're trying to actually get to know him. And maybe this person is not used to people actually getting to know him. So not having that, this is going to scare them that you're sparking up something without that element, okay? Without that element of rushing to have sex with them or sleep with them, okay? The next thing was, it was scary but cute, right? So it's not weird vibes, but it's just like, you're going to sense that, he's afraid of falling in love. You're going to sense that the walls will slowly begin to come down. And it's going to be like in a cute kind of way. Not like, oh, he's so scared, like he's rejected me and he want to get back to the surface. It's not really that thing. This is just, and it was actually very clear that the surface was just his comfort level. This is not that, oh, when things start to get deep, he's going to want to go back and forth with you. No, this wasn't that at all. The thing is, it may scare him once you guys begin to travel into the deep, once you're actually trying to get to know this person. Once he sees that you actually see him in the spirit and you know things about this person, then it's going to be without the element of having sex and those romantic type of encounters. without these encounters, he's going to see that you actually see him, and this is actually worth pursuing without the element of sex is what he's used to, right? And so the next thing was, it will also be scary whenever you get to the point to reveal to this person what it is that God spoke to you or what it is that God showed you, especially depending on how long you guys' separation was. So let's just say if God showed you your person and then there was a separation, and whatever happens in the separation, but it allows the man to prepare to be a husband, and it allows the woman to actually prepare to be a wife, which has nothing to do with each other, but you begin to just work on things, and then God will bring you guys together once it's time for the revelation to happen. Okay? And so once you begin to speak these things, what it is that God told you or God showed you, that's actually another form of vulnerability for this man. Again, another thing that this person is probably not used to. And this thing is going to actually be scary, even if they're trying to put up a front. Like, you're just going to think it's cute. You might catch the stares. You might catch, the awkward silences and things like that, to where he's really thinking about these things because he's going through a revelation, because Christ is actually showing him, you prayed for a wife. This is your wife, right? And so the next thing was deep waters. It talks about feelings and emotions will be stirred because he prayed for a wife. And then I put LOL. But and for you to be prepared. But another thing was, as we went into the deep and this person began to get scared, this also can symbolize, like, we all have a past, right? But this can symbolize stuff about, since the woman and the man was there, this can actually symbolize that there are some things that are deep that you think about you, and typically these are things that you don't typically share with the world, but you think that this may run the person away, but then you're going to find that this person may have similar things that they don't typically share about themselves, and that's going to be different for everybody, right? Maybe even some deep secrets, some things, some traumas that they don't typically mention to other people, but she'll find that the walls start to come down, and they can talk about these traumas together. They can talk about the things that they have been through in relationships. They can talk about the things that they have been through in their lives, and it's going to coincide. Now, it might not be exactly the same thing that hurt you, hurt him, but there will be some things that both people will be able to be vulnerable about, and still be able to go into the deep, still be able to still have fun, hang with friends, go on dates, and still it will get to a point of equilibrium. It will get to a point to where, it equals out. But initially, it's going to be excited for the woman, because this woman is typically used to fast and hasty relationships and maybe some codependency. But it's going to be fast and scary for the man, because this man is not used to this quality or this caliber of a woman, especially when sex is not involved. Okay, so the next thing was, and I just kind of mentioned that, but surprised that things are getting deep without sex. And again, this man may be used to dating. This person may be a serial dater. And I'm going to just say this to be honest, because even if, and let's just bring this back for a second, but let's just say God has shown you your person and God has shown him you. And if he chose to run and go do another thing, especially when it's the closer the time it is to get together, the closer you may be able to witness that this person is going in and out of relationships, or might talk to somebody and it just don't work out. This person spends a lot of time with himself. Once this man humbles himself and goes back to God and begin to pray, it's going to become more clear and more evident to him, especially after God has done the work on the woman. Okay. And so the woman, like I said, was comfortable in the deep. The man was scared in the deep. And again, because like I said, the sex was just a thought. It's not something that we did, but it was something that I thought about, but I didn't want to ruin the moment. And so this just, again, it could go back to this, just the person being used to going into relationships quickly. And it can also be used to, like, this is what happens on the surface. So maybe this person is used to hookups. And I'm going to be honest, this person could be used to getting played. This person can be used to, this man can be used to, and I'm speaking of the man when I say these things, can be used to getting into relationships where the people really don't want to get to know him. He can be used to, because he like a certain type of woman, typically, he can be used to getting played. He can be used to getting used for his money. He can used to getting into these relationships where he's been put in the friend zone. And these are things that God is allowing to happen until the time is right, before God brings to pass what he said was going to come to pass. So typically, if God tells the man and he goes off and he does his own thing and he does a different thing and seeks who he wants to seek, and he say, okay, well, I like this woman because I only like this type of woman, and typically he's very narrow-minded, then eventually it's going to come a time where he's going to have to make a choice. You're going to want to, because again, if you keep touching the stove, knowing that the stove is hot while the stove is turned on, eventually you're going to want to stop touching the stove, because you're just going to know it's hot. So eventually you stop pursuing these things. But once you humble yourself and he's able to come back to God, and the woman humbles herself before the Lord, then God can bring them together. Okay. And so spiritually, because I wanted to know why we were on a pallet. Why weren't we on a boat? Why weren't we could have been swimming, we could have been in a canoe, we could have been doing anything, but to particularly be on a pallet. I looked up what the spiritual meaning of pallet was, and it means used to unsteady relationships. And since we both were on this pallet, that lets me know that the man and the woman are both used to unsteady relationship. And I feel like maybe for the woman, when it goes fast, it doesn't last, right? I feel like, once it goes fast for a woman and the guy gets what he needs or whatever it is, then the guy goes on about his business. Or maybe this woman has been hurt in the past. Once she goes off into the deep and she feels more safe on the surface. But I feel like this message in particular says a lot about, and even more about, the man than it does for the woman. Because this particular woman is going to spark something in this man that he's not used to being stirred up. Like, again, if he's used to a very surface level thing, because maybe he's just been disappointed a lot in relationships, and so have this woman in this dream, the way it seemed, when you actually begin to stir something up in the relationship, maybe feelings and maybe deep revelatory things about this person that has not been stirred up in a very long time, and this person begins to get revelation that you are who God said you would be, this will cause a man to feel a little bit scared, especially initially. Now, this is not going to be a scare, I'm gonna be afraid, I'm gonna run away, not that type of thing, right? But it will be to where this person may feel like, I ain't felt this feeling in a long time. Like, this is something different for me. This could even be something actually quite new for me, because I'm used to me kicking it with somebody for a couple of days or for a few days or for a few months, and then it just don't work out. Like, we just kind of fizzle out. They go do something different. They go date someone different. I find out that this person is not for me, or we just really don't click on that intimate type of level. And then they'll find that with you, probably someone who has been in their face all along, that things are just different. Things are moving at a different pace. They're starting to get revelation of why God showed them what he showed them. And on both sides, the woman will begin to get revelation too, as to the plans that God has for the relationship. And so again, this is for somebody, maybe this has already started happening, where you meet this person and you like, man, what is wrong with him? Like, and this person is like, there's great communication, there's great chemistry. Both of you guys are getting revelation, and then this is where it gets scary, but it's exciting. So it's not scary or the person being scared and then they run away, but this is scary, but it's exciting. And so a song that the Lord actually gave me with this message, as I was thinking about it to actually deliver the message the other day, was it's a song by One Glory. It's called Carry You Through. My spirit, after I got the revelation, because I got the revelation for this word actually pretty quickly, but my spirit started singing this song. And I believe that this song also goes with the word I did with for less than a year, God's Purpose for Marriage, less than a year. And it's called I'll Carry You Through by One Glory. You can look it up on YouTube. And if this message is actually resonating with you, I strongly encourage you to go watch the video to this song, I'll Carry You Through by One Glory. Never heard of them, but God just kept putting it in my path, And then I went and listened to it, and I actually watched the video, and I actually got some revelation for myself. So I feel like if you guys resonate with this word, then you can actually go and watch the video, because it's actually a beautiful, gorgeous Christian marriage type of song that a guy wrote for his wife. And I don't know, I've never heard of them before, but this message, this song actually started singing in my spirit on its own. Like the Holy Spirit started singing this song after I got the full revelation for this message. So that could be for somebody. Also in scripture, the Lord led me to 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 11 through 15, and it talks about the ministry of reconciliation. So I do feel like this word can also be for someone who maybe there was a brief meeting of your person, and then for whatever reason there was a split. And a lot of the times the split is just so that God can prepare something either for both people, for the woman or for the man. But there was a split, and God knows that he's going to bring you back in a later date. So how do you know that God knows that? It's because God has shown you this person. God has maybe given you dreams and certain confirmation about this person. You may even already know some spiritually deep things about this person, and vice versa. This person might know some spiritually deep things about you, but during the split, right, that God actually caused to happen so that the woman can prepare to be a wife and the man can go and prepare to be a husband. Okay. And if the woman really needs to get ready, like if God got to prune some things for you, if God have to get you into purpose, if the Lord is getting you to clean yourself, clean your body, clean up yourself, clean up your home, clean up your friends, like get your kids in order, get your house in order and things like that, then God will allow that man to go and pursue some things until it's time for you guys to come back together. So it's not he gets to go and do this and he's gonna steady get in trouble, but it's just like this man is actually innocent because he's dating. And he's dating where the opportunity comes. And yes, he's going to go through disappointment, and yes, he may go through some heartbreak and things like that. But this is not for you to feel like, one, when this person is directed back to you, for you to feel prideful or for you to feel like, you was a second choice, because Queen Esther never felt like she was a second choice. She knew her position. Queen Esther also knew that there was a lot of competition around. That had nothing to do with her preparing herself. That had nothing to do with her favor, because God wanted her to have favor. Okay. So we have to put ourselves in a position to be humble when God wants this to happen, and not take rejection and not take the things that, that may happen in the middle and personalize that thing. Because again, this is something that God is going to use, and it can be annoying if you have, access to your person and you're able to see this person. If you work with this person, or you live by this person, or you're on social media with this person and you're able to see certain things, it's just to take heed that, again, this separation has to happen. This person goes and do what they need to do. You go and do what God told you to do. And in its time, and God will reveal it, and God will bring it together. But again, somebody's spouse prayed for a wife, and they're going to actually be all in his feelings and scared when he actually gets a wife. And especially once those deep things come out about this man. In particular, I believe this is for the man. This could be for the woman too. But for the man, if there's something that's like deep about this person, if God has revealed to you like certain secrets, because the way God can be revelatory and speak to us in dreams is actually amazing. I'm actually even being directed to, once I actually come into my promised land, then I'll come and talk about some of the dreams that God gave me just for me. That will be part of our testimony. So I really just feel like God is like giving y'all the tea. God could be telling you things about this person, and this person is going to know that God told you that. They gonna know, like, you. And I'm not talking about stuff that you can see on their social media that's obvious and evident. I'm talking about things that God has revealed to you, because maybe you're the prayer warrior, maybe you're the intercessor, maybe you're the person just a little bit closer to God because you spend more time in God's presence and more time submitted to God's will. God will show you things for you to pray about. And you'll just have a revelation about what's going on over there, even though you ain't over there. So when it is time, in its timing for you to actually speak these things, that can be scary from a person. Why? Because they know there's no other way you could have known that. Only God could have shown you that, and vice versa. This person might be like, yeah, well, I had a revelation to this, and I knew that my wife was going to be this, and I, even if it was from back in the day, this person may be able to come back and say, I used to dream that my wife would be like this, and I've always wanted her to be like this and be like that, but I was unable to see it in its time. Now I see. Now I know. So these things are just going to be so important that you don't find yourself being mad at your person, especially as rejection is involved. If rejection is involved, because that's more so like being mad at God, especially if you know that God separated you guys because it wasn't time for you guys to come together, because there's still things that God wanted to work on with you, and there's still things that God wanted to work on with this person. And that could mean God could be, like I said, asking you or working with you to clean up yourself, clean up your home, clean up your friends, clean up your purpose, spend some time with him, walking with him, being able to hear him clearly, being able to be guided by him clearly, because the mission does not stop when you actually get your person. In fact, there's more to do after you two actually come together. So you have to be actually almost just willing to put yourself in a position to actually hear from God. And this is going to have to be forevermore. This is something that will start now, but it's going to carry on throughout the relationship, throughout the marriage, okay? You're going to have to be able to get in the presence of God and still get that wisdom from God moving forward in everything that you do. So God kind of gets us used to these things in the beginning so that you're actually used to it when you come into union with your person. But again, things are about to get deep. Your spouse, he's about to be all in his feelings because he prayed for a wife and God sent him his wife, and he ain't gonna know what to do with that, right? And you're gonna think it's so cute because probably you've known all along that this was your person. But once he actually started to get revelation and you actually start to see, oh, that's cute, he in his feelings, you'll know. And he'll know, again, because a lot of times God will put you in rooms and put things on your heart and show you things in the spirit because you're an intercessor and you're the one that prayed for you to pray for it. But there is going to come a day, because the Bible says we prophesy in part. There will come a day where you're going to actually bring this thing up, and this person is going to know there was nobody but God that told them this. This person will know that it's been you all along. This person may even begin to feel ashamed or afraid, depending on what you have access to seeing them do, that their person was around them all along. And it's not for you to get the big head. It's for you to show them the love like Christ. Like, oh no, I knew everything was in this time. Like, you got to be chill about this. Like, I knew everything would happen in this time. I knew that had to get that, that had to happen, because had I received my marriage promise in that timing, I probably wasn't ready and I would have ruined it. We could have ended up not even liking each other if I would have awakened love before it was time. So understanding that and seeing a love like Christ, where in your flesh you might feel some type of way, like, this person rejected me, or they act like they don't want me, or they act like they want to go over there and do something different first. You have to get out of your flesh. And you have to show this person the love like Christ. And you have to just stand out and be different, knowing that God told you a thing will come to pass. And everything that happened in the middle and everything that happened beforehand should not even matter anymore once you guys come together. So that's the message, y'all. Somebody's spouse is about to fall deeply in love. A couple is about to be brought together, fall deeply in love. You guys may have a friend group, because again, we got back to the surface and we were having a good time with our friends. So if you guys don't have a common friend group, then you guys could like the same thing that could potentially land you in a same friend group type of setting, to where all of you guys as friends can hang together in this type of thing. Like, whether if it's like something you do for work, or if it's like a hobby that you do and there's like some sort of club, if you guys are entrepreneurs and there's certain events, then you guys will find yourself like actually having friends where you can go and hang out together. So that's the message, y'all. Somebody's about to fall deep in love. Somebody is about to be all in his feelings, and somebody is about to breeze past. It's going to be smooth sailing, rapid elevation, because that's how God works. for a relationship where there is no sex involved, where they're actually getting to know a person. They're about to come into their person that actually wants to get to know them and don't want something from them, not trying to play them, trick them, get them caught up, or put them in a friend zone, or make them look like a fool, or do anything like that. But his person and her person are being brought together with nothing but the love of God. You will be able to sense the love of God with this person. Whether you're a man watching this and God brings you your wife, or you're the wife watching this and God is getting ready to bring you to your husband. Either way, somebody's spouse, and it's going to be cute, right? Not like he's trying to run away from you, but it's just going to be cute that he know that these things are getting deep. God actually spoke to you. You've been there all along, and you have to be humble with that, and you have to accept him and show him the love of Christ so that God can have his son back, or God can have his daughter back, whatever it is, right? Because ultimately, this is a person that loves God, because God wants you guys to be together. So he playing matchmaker for y'all. So all y'all got to do is chill. It's going to be smooth sailing. Y'all going to have y'all friend group. Y'all going to be getting to know each other. Things going to get deep, and it's going to get scary for the man. It's going to be exciting for the woman. And then, you know, you both will kind of just be brought together and share these things of unsteady relationships in the past, because both people are used to selling in unsteady relationships, whatever that looks like for the person. But you guys will find that common ground, and you guys are going to have a beautiful relationship for whoever this word is for. So that's the message, y'all. Somebody's about to fall deep in love and be all in their feelings because they prayed for a wife, and God is getting ready to send them their wife. That's the message, y'all. Bye for now.